Alright, welcome back to Conqueror and Commander. Today we're going to be talking about an Azami Lady of Scrolls deck. And this deck's a little different because it's a budget deck. I made it for under 20 tickets. In addition, it is a Wizard Tribal deck. So it doesn't really win by comboing out or anything like that. And as a matter of fact, I built this deck back in February of 2012. So it's almost a year old. If you want to see the complete deck list, go to puremtgo.com and go to my archives at Conqueror and Commander, and you can see, taking a look right here, we've got a variety of cheap wizards out here, plus a couple of dudes that are based on hand size, like Chronicler, and where is it? Psychosis Crawler, Sturmgeist, a couple other stuff. The deck doesn't have a whole lot in the ways of counter spells, but it does have a few, and just a few sorceries. And if you take a look, you can break it down a little bit here by, the hand size matters cards, a couple of tutors here. Basically, what it tries to do is win through a combination of either wizard beatdown and board control, or mainly actually just beat down by these big dudes right here. So I haven't updated this deck. I haven't changed it at all. And so what we have here, I'm going up against Jhoira, who suspends big fat stuff and typically land destruction. Jhoira is either played super cutthroat or by newbies that think that she's cool, and there never really seems to be an in-between with Jhoira. Karona is usually some sort of either 5-color good stuff or tribal deck, and then Cedrus is Grixis control with some enters the battlefield guys usually. Here's my opening hand. It's only got two lands, and I'm not very happy with it. It just doesn't really have any early game action, so I send it back, and I get a hand with no lands. Oh, no, it does have Buried Ruin, but that's obviously worse, and I don't like it at all. So I send it back again. Mulligan down to 6, and I get 2 lands here, but I do have Jushi Apprentice and Sapphire Medallion, plus a Sky Diamond, plus a personal tutor in case I really need something. So at least I have early games plays here, and I decide to keep. I believe, oh yeah, Jhoira has a ley line that pops out, and I have the first turn draw, which is Mystic Apprentice, which is a nice little bit of Excel for my deck. And Cedrus bowed out early. Not sure why, he didn't say, so this is really just a 3-player game. The Karona deck played Cavern of Souls and chose Ally. So it's obviously an Ally tribal deck. That'll be interesting, and he's got a turn 2 survivalist who's just going to get bigger over time. Right now I'm sitting pretty because I've got a good amount of mana, and I've got my apprentice, so I'm happy. Jhoira isn't really doing much yet, but it's only the 3rd turn. I play the Medallion and my Apprentice Wizard. There's nothing like having a ton of mana. Karona plays Ondu Cleric, who's going to gain him some life, and he's going to come after me. I'm fine with that. Hey look, another land. So I play Azami, and at this point I just want to start drawing cards. Rift Elemental, which is a nice little goofy suspend card. So Jhoira isn't that cutthroat because on turn 4 she could have cast Jhoira and then, start suspending stuff the next turn. Meanwhile, Karona plays Bojuka Brigand, who's just a big dude, or a guy who's going to get bigger. But again, Karona's going to be gaining some life here. She's up to 46. And she's spreading the love around. And I decide to start drawing cards. Hey look, Fencer's Journal. That's going to help me. Coral Atoll. Now I personal tutor for Inundate, but realize later on that that's probably not the best card to pick when there's a bunch of allies running around out there. And then I draw another island afterwards by tapping Azami. Jhoira didn't do anything, so other than play another land, so I don't know what she's sitting back and waiting on. Karona's just going to keep dropping dual lands. Oh, Bloodbraid Elf, who cascades into Darksteel Ingot. And if we take a look real quick, Zealous Conscripts is in there, Seagate Oracle, so it's, oh, Seagate Lore Master, nice. There's the Conscript, so it's not straight allies. Brass Herald, nice little draw. The Pyromancer, Sellswords, you know, it's not all allies, but it's a variety of stuff. And then he comes straight after me. I'm just going to have to take it, and I'm not really too worried about it because Venser's Journal is going to help me gain some life back. So I drop down to 28, but then I go up to 33. And I'm just drawing cards at this point. I play Sturmgeist to have a nice, decent size blocker, and Jhoira flashes out Mind's Eye. I kind of thought she was going to counter it, but you know, right now she's just going to start drawing cards. Karona plays Moldrifter, a nice little utility creature. And Jhoira is going to start drawing a ton of cards. Soul Ring and Halimar Excavator. And what he does is he makes Jhoira start milling. Jhoira is playing Illicit Auction, so she's not a hardcore deck. And Noble Benefactor. She's more of a fun deck, but she's also got stuff like Rite of Replication. What the Karona player figures out too late is that she should be hitting me with the milling, because once I start drawing a ton of cards, it's possible for me to deck myself, and I need to draw cards in order to win. Yeah, she only attacks with the Survivalist. And again, she's spreading the love around. I go ahead and flip Tomoya. Actually, I already flipped him. And draw a bunch of cards during my upkeep. I attack Jhoira because Karona has the Moldrifter to block. Right now, I'm sitting pretty. I can flash out Teferi here in a little bit. Teferi's a nice little counter to Jhoira decks, but she hasn't even suspended anything yet, so I'm not worried about it. Foil is a nice little free counter spell here, because I've got enough cards, I'm not really worried about it. And then, if I need to clear out blockers, I can play Inundate. Jhoira is just laying lands and doing nothing. I'm not sure what her plan is. Karona's up to 51. Here's Haggard Diabolist. I think that's its name, right? Diabolist. And what that can start doing is draining people real quick. Obviously, I'm the bigger threat than Jhoira right now, so I'm going to start getting drained. And I'm a little worried about this, but not too worried about it, because I still do have the Venser's Journal. Oh yeah, and then now is when Karona starts milling me, and you know, she mills Soramaru and Moloku, and I get attacked with a couple of guys, but I can flash out Teferi, which I do, and I block and kill Bloodbraid Elf. And I draw a couple extra cards. Jhoira is thinking about flashing something out, but she decides not to. I gain some more life. I go up to 47. I attack Karona, knowing that she's going to block with Moldrifter. And then I inundate. And I'm not really sure why I decided to inundate at that point, other than to just make Karona have to recast all those guys. But it's going to slow her down, and it's going to leave me with more... yeah, I don't know. That probably wasn't the best time to inundate, but whatever, I decided to do it. I play Seagate Oracle. I pick up Surge Spanner, and that's it. Jhoira is finally gonna cast Propaganda and Rift Elemental, and Jhoira comes out. Karona's gonna replay a bunch of Door to Nothingness. Now, if I thought about it, I went ahead and just foiled it for free. But if I'd thought about it, I would have just let it come into play tapped and then bounced it with Search Spanner next turn. But it freaked me out, and I got worried. And I decided it was worth the counter. Since they can't, neither of them are really doing anything about Azami, and I've got Tomoya flipped, I'm just going to start plowing through my deck here soon. I'm drawing a ton of cards now. Look, there's Academy Ruins. That's a good card. I sacrificed Buried Ruin to get Psychosis Crawler back from my graveyard. The Halimar Excavator had been milling me, and I've already got 15 cards in my yard. And one of them was Psychosis Crawler. And I've only got 52 cards left in my deck. So I'm attacking Karona with my two big guys, a 15-15 Chronicler and a 15-15 Sterngeist. And then Jhoira just with Teferi. I'm not really sure if I actually paid to do it or not. Oh, I did. Yeah, look at that. So ideally I'm going to flash out Psychosis Crawler or something like that. Paradox Haze. But she still hasn't suspended anything yet. As you can see, this is just sort of like a silly, goofy game. Nobody's really hardcore in this game. Oh, there we go. She exiled a Cataract Leviathan. There's a Changeling to help move along the ally theme. I get hit and milled again. I'm down to 42 cards. I flash out Psychosis Crawler and Surge Spanner, and then I start drawing cards with Azami and ticking away at people's life. At this point, my hand just becomes unwieldy. I've noticed like around 15 or 16 cards in hand. It's just tough. It's a pain in the butt. And with a flipped Tomoya, essentially all I got to do is tap him and pay the mana, and I do, and that kills Jhoira right there, because I draw like, I don't know, a ton of cards. I've got 38 cards in my hand, and I draw like 18 cards or something like that. And the Jhoira player ends up. Remember, you can F7 if you've got all like the similar effects in your stack. If you F7, it'll just line them all up for you. There's your tip for the day. The Jhoira player was going through and clicking on each one, but it didn't really matter. Like, my hand is, I got everything I want. Although I don't have a counter. Oh, here's another thing. If Fate Spinner is a card that you only play under dire circumstances. People hate Fate Spinner with a passion. So if it looks like you're gonna get like completely blown out, throw Fate Spinner out there, and you know it'll help you a little bit. But people will kill you the moment that they see it, or at least try. It's kind of a double-edged sword. Let's see. Sickle Tracer is a little funny. When you have this many cards in hand, Patron of the Moon is good at getting all your lands out. You know, the rest of the stuff's basically standard. Graceful Adept's another Reliquary Tower. Yeah, it's just a goofy amount of cards. It's really tough. And as you can see, when you have all this stuff going on, things will lag out. I knocked Karona down to 14, and I've got a couple of big dudes that all go after him, but he doesn't have an ability to block Sturmgeist at this point. So I win. Most games don't go this smoothly, in all honesty. I mean, it is a budget deck, and it is Wizard Tribal. So, you know. But it is fun to, you know, bust out a year-old deck that hasn't been touched and win a game here. Alright? Hope you enjoyed it. Trip down memory lane. Thanks a lot.